Hello there, how you doing? Wee Paddy from across the shock, and how's my little potato chips this morning? I hope you're all well. Um, and it's a strange title for this video, I know, and I'm not even going to say it because I haven't made it up yet, but I know it's going to be strange. But here, I'm going to start now. What should you expect from a YouTuber? Be it your favourite YouTuber or any YouTuber that you go on to and watch. And I'm just going to talk about knife channels because that's where I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing it nearly 5 years now. I've gone through times where I have made mistakes. I have got into rows with people which were completely unnecessary. I got into rows with one fellow because I didn't like the way he spoke to somebody else. What business is that of mine? So I learned a great lesson there. Is just keep your neb out of other people's business. If you don't like what they're doing, unsubscribe. Knives. What do you expect from the knives that a YouTuber talks about? 90, probably 99% of us are just knife lovers. We're not metallurgy experts. We're not blade steel experts. We're not, that's the same thing, isn't it? That's typical me. We're not experts in using knives. We're just people who love knives. And we're not doing it for a point to prove that, every man needs a knife. Every man doesn't need a knife until they do. And that's where a knife becomes useful. If you need it and you've got one, that's when it becomes a really useful tool. Not this just for cutting paper up or cutting a bit of cardboard up to say that this one lasts longer than the other. So there's a few, this is probably going to be a bit of a ramble. And it's brought on from last night. I was watching William's Knife Life, talking about a time in his life that led him into depression, led him into different things. He wasn't doing it for a pity party. He was just telling a wee bit about his life. And that's what I personally enjoy watching a tube, when I find out a bit more about the YouTuber. Because I'm at the stage now where I know as much as I'll ever need to know about knives. Now, do I want to learn more? Yes. But I've got enough now that, another person is not going to influence me as much as they would have done when I first started. And you hear that say we're influencers. And that can be for a lot of people. We can be influencers. I never set out to be an influencer. I was a very basic knife user before I came to this hobby. I didn't even carry a knife every day up until a few months before I started this channel. So there we go. But I used knives. I was a fisherman, I used them. I was a bushcrafter, I used them. I was a camper, I used them. And I was I've been a labourer and I used them. But I've never been, before I started the channel, I was never a huge knife person. I didn't know anything about them really. Steels didn't mean anything to me. As long as I could sharpen it and use it, that was it. And to be honest with you, 99% of the population is going to be like that. As long as the knife is sharp and it cuts things, then it's useful. If it's not sharp and it doesn't cut, it's not useful. That's basics. What we do is, as I do, is I've tried to sort of, I suppose it's just a way of, it's a hobby, but being a YouTuber, knife collecting is a hobby, but being a YouTuber is also a hobby. Strangely enough, I like talking to a camera in a little room by myself, usually every other day. I mean, I haven't been well for this last week, and I've missed not making videos as much. But that's besides the point. Feeling a bit better today. And a wee virus, not COVID, just a wee virus. But and another video I watched last night was my friend Warthog. And if you don't follow him, go over to his channel, give him a little sub, and listen to his last video. He's in hospital at the minute now. He's hoping to get out today, but he had a really bad experience during the week. He's been unwell with another condition for quite a long time, for probably over a year, well over a year, waiting to get in and get an operation. But he took something else. It was a big scare for him, and a big scare for anybody. But go over and see Warthog. He has an amazing channel, especially if you like slip joints and older knives as well. Marvellous channel. He's not been well. He probably needs a wee bit of a cheer up. Let him know that you've come over and you've joined him. Paddy sent you over to give you a cheer up, because he's a good guy. He really is a good guy. And look, nearly anybody on YouTube's a good guy. There's been a lot of this slicey dicey thing has blown up and it's gone a bit mad. And yeah, he done a few things wrong, and they weren't great things to do, but he done them and he's apologised. Let it go. Just let it go. He's taking a wee break. I think that's the right thing to do. Take a break, come back. He has probably plenty, and not probably, he has a lot of subs that'll stick by him, and he can continue to make videos if he wants to when he comes back. The one thing, and here's a little bit, I can't give advice because I've no qualification to give advice, but the one thing I've learned is when you let this hobby and being a YouTuber become money orientated, it changes your perspective. You're trying to please everybody, and you will never do that in any walk of life because you can't please everybody. So I think if maybe if Slicey comes back, maybe he'll come back as a knife lover rather than someone who's trying to make money from a hobby. Making money from a hobby is, look, Metal Complex is probably one of the modern day ones that he is doing it, and he enjoys doing it. He doesn't buy all his knives. He gets a lot of loaners. He's not getting himself in debt over it. He's not falling behind because he's doing it at his pace. I couldn't do it at his pace. But I love his enthusiasm. As I've always said, enthusiasm is everything in hobby. No matter what hobby you're doing or sport you're doing or work you're doing, if somebody's enthusiastic, it draws you in. And that's what I want to see when I see somebody. And you don't have to be all jumpy like I am and all. Yay! I mean, that's me. That's the way I do it. And that's the way I show it. Metal Complex is overexcited like me, and I like that. And that's a very positive thing. It's not a negative thing. But there's other people out there who are very quiet and they just get on with it, like Williams Knife Life, Warthog. And they are people who draw me to them for their warmth. And they tell me a bit about themselves. And I like that side of it. So what should you expect from a YouTuber? Why do you want to expect something? Just watch what he has to say about knives. If you enjoy what that YouTuber is saying about the knives, or you have one and he's given a different opinion to yours, and you can think about it, and that's all it is. This is just talking about knives. That's all it is, honestly. It's just talking about knives. I'm going to go as far as to say is that most people on YouTube, most people who watch YouTube, most people who comment on YouTube are not heavy knife users. Sorry, my wee dog's outside there. Eddie, go on. Stop that. Eddie, go on. He's parking. We're at the caravan as normal, and he's out on the deck in there, and I have the camera out the window. But besides that, what can you expect from YouTubers? Don't expect anything. I mean, when you get to know a YouTuber, you'll know what he likes, what he dislikes. And over time, everybody will change. I have changed from I started as a budget channel doing mostly budget knives. In fact, very budget knives compared to the knives that are out now for the new people who start channels are on knives that are way beyond I would have started on and had for the first couple of years. And that's good. That's everything moving on. That's great. It's good that people have more money now to do that. But there's an awful lot who don't have the money. And that's why I keep sticking with a bit of both. My own personal collection is my slip joints, my GEC, my higher end knives. That's my own personal collection that I invest the money that I have, the spare money that I have, into. I have sold a lot of my old stock. Knives that are out of date now and people don't want to see reviews on them. I've sold them and I've invested that money into my collection. But I still like buying medium to budget range knives, and I like reviewing them, I like using them, I like testing them. That's all still relevant. I mean, I just love them. And it's funny, last week I made a wee video and I was saying about, it would be nice, if my subs, I don't do a lot of, I don't want to be, I don't want to be asking for money every month off somebody. To me, that's not right, because this is my hobby. But I said, if anybody can give me a wee hand, if you've got budget knives, if you can afford to send them to the channel, they'll be reviewed, maybe given away. I'll maybe pass them on to get other knives to the channel. It is quite expensive keeping up with even budget knives. So how the likes of them bigger channels can in their heads sort out the price of the knives, unless you like Metal Complex, who is the wise one of all, getting knives in that you want to keep in your channel to review is expensive. I'm on a fixed income. I'm a pensioner, basically. I retired a bit early, but I'm on a pension. I don't have the spare cash. My parents passed away a couple of years ago. I got a lump sum of money then, and I used that, and I was able to buy a lot of expensive knives that I would. That's all gone now. I don't save money. If I saved money, I wouldn't be doing this, because you're just spending money that's not going anywhere other than something to fondle. It doesn't benefit my family any, but it's my hobby. And I'd just like to say, I'm going to bring you down. I'm just going to move this down here. Some of my subs all my subs are amazing, because you watch this twaddle I put out. But my subs, I got 4 knives sent in by subs. I'll mention them when I'm doing reviews on them. And I have a couple of Rough Riders which are amazing. I have a Ganzo that I'd never reviewed when they were my favourite budget knife. And I had this Ferrum Forge from Mark Congerton from Congies Knives. I've done the review on that, and I mentioned him in that. But so 4 people sent me a knife. And this makes a difference, because these 4 knives will be spread over a couple of weeks, and it's a couple of weeks I don't have to spend money on knives or try to make up videos, because after a while I'll bring you up again, you do have to make up little videos to keep the channel going, because I have a lot of friends out there. I don't even call them, the subs are not subs anymore, they become friends, and you get ones like Gizmo Car. Look, if you haven't got that man as a sub, search him out and get him as a sub. He is fantastic. He gives you paragraphs of information, or his own knowledge, his own thoughts on knives. Is he an expert? No, but he's a very knowledgeable man, and he just makes it. When you get a video and people give you lots of feedback on that video, whether it's good or bad or indifferent or just enjoying the moment that video brought to their lives, to me that's the buzz of this hobby. That's the hobby. The knife is not the hobby, it's that interaction. I'm the worst interactor in the world, and that's more because I'm an old fart. I'm not very good with this technology, and sitting typing is a pain in the backside to me. I find it very difficult to do, but I really enjoy the interaction that my subs give me, and I know I have some of the best in the business as far as subs go, because they've been with me 5 years and they're still commenting, and I am the worst responder in the world. I do try, but there's times that I keep up on top of it. This recently I just haven't been able to. But half the times I never know where I'm going in the video. But yeah, I do. One of the biggest things for me is when I get involved with subscriptions that I watch, and I watch stacks, absolutely stacks. Not because I'm trying to glean any information. I just love seeing people who are enthusiastic about the same thing as me. Over in Northern Ireland, there's not a lot of us, and in the UK as a whole, there's maybe not a lot of knife lovers or collectors, because it's so difficult over here. And that's what I want to change, and that's why I've been this year doing more UK knife companies or leather companies. I've been doing that because I just want to increase that over here. That's my little goal. It's not because I want to, well, it is because I want to buy UK, but I like buying from all around the world. The GECs are American. I'm not American, but to me they're the best production knife in the world in slip joints. So that's why I buy them, and I can get a huge, I've got, for me, it's a huge collection of them, of over 20 now, and I just love them. So, but that's where I go on my little channel. Talk about budget. It's Bilberry. They come on Amazon. You can get them. You get them lots of different places. Chinese brand of multi-tool. They just sent me their new one. I done one about, must be nearly 2 years ago of them, and I still have it. It's an amazing little multi-tool. It's not a Leatherman, but I don't hard use my stuff, so it's still working perfectly. And I've used it about the house, and I haven't run off any of the screwdriver bits. This one is a smaller one, much more pocketable. Let me just get you. Where's my Leatherman? I always have my... Oh, there it is. There's my Leatherman. So it's about the same size as just a medium leather. It's an old one. It's a Leatherman Pulse. It's about the same size. It's a bit wider in width, but there's more tools in this than there is on this. And it's just super. Lovely little belt clip that comes with it in the back, which is easier to get on and off your belt. It just clips over your belt, and there's a hook there, so it's pretty safe. I wear a thick belt anyway, so it's not going to go anywhere. So, I mean, these are 20 odd pound multi-tools. So I still love things like that. Plus the fact I've had one for 2 years, so I know they're pretty good. They're not amazing, but they're pretty good. And it does me for my use. And that's what, like, it's funny, I just answered a comment this morning. Somebody said that I was choosing between steels because of rust or chip, and I can't remember. I was answering it was a lovely comment. It wasn't a bad one. It wasn't negative. It was just what this person thought. And that's all it is. It's thoughts. These are just my thoughts. They don't have to be right. They're just my thoughts. But I was able to answer him back and saying that, a blade steel that chips, or, when you're out working for the day, it doesn't mean the blade is wrecked. It's just wrecked where that wee chip is. The knife is not inefficient. It maybe just doesn't slice paper well, but it will still cut even if it's got a chip in it. So we tend to get this over. We have to have this really hard steel. It has to be heat treated to such and such a degree. It has to have all this cryo treatment. They don't. It just has to be a knife, because I went through most of my life up to 57 using blade steels that were crap, but I was still able to get through my life with knives that were no higher than 1095 on my bushcraft knives. So I got through all my life using 440A, probably even, in fact, not probably, even worse steels than that, and was okay. It's only when I get into knives, there is an awful lot of snobbery. And I've got snobbery knives now too, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a lot of them, but the ones I have are, whoa, they're amazing. But a knife is a knife, and it just cuts. Let's get to the real basics. All these other steels are great for the hobby, and a great way to go through to review and try. I love trying them. But at the end of the day, if I stop doing YouTube and my knives all go, would I go out and spend £300 or £350 on a Chris Reeve? And the honest answer is no, because I've had them. They're beautiful, and I still enjoy them now today. But I'm talking, if I left YouTube, I'll be quite happy with £10.95 on one GEC knife, and it would do the rest of my life absolutely adequately. And I'm saying adequately because there's other knives that do better, there's other knives that'll do worse. But at GEC at £10.95 will do me adequately for the rest of my life. So let's get real. YouTubers are not some sort of gods who invented knives. We're just people who share our love for them. And that's all it is, just a sharing of our love for knives. And to be able to talk to other people who have that affliction. And that's all you are as subs. You're just people who have afflictions. But don't expect so much from us. Or not from us. I'm only going to speak. Don't expect so much from me. I'm just an old lad that enjoys my knives, enjoys my hobby, enjoys the interaction, enjoys finding out about other people on YouTube. I mean, people say, oh, I'm too nervous to start a YouTube channel. You're only talking to your phone. You're not going out into an auditorium. Pick your phone up, start a channel, just share what knives you've got, whatever you can afford. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because people like me will watch, and people like my subs will watch, as long as they just want to find out who the person is. And that's what attracts me to people, is your personality. And you don't have to be loud and gregarious for me to like you. I mean, some of my favourite channels are very quietly spoken, very knowledgeable people on knives, and some very unknowledgeable who just like budget knives. And that's super, because my range is vast, and I mean vast. I love them all. And I know that's going to sound a bit of a cliche, but it's not. I have drawers full. There's 1, 2 complete drawers, and these are not little drawers. let me just bring you down and show you. These are vast drawers of budget knives, because I hate giving them away, but I love having the different styles, and they're all, a budget knife can be just as attractive as a £300 knife, in my eyes. Dead simple, it can. There's no doubt about it. So the likes of Slicey and that, yeah, let it go now. Let him go. He's had good news that him and his wife are going to have a child. I wish them all the very best. I hope, you know, I don't wish ill to either parties, and I don't even know half of what's going on. I don't really get involved, but I would say, as you know, sometimes we can be very hypercritical and we can want to put people to the sword very quickly. I don't know what's going on in Slicey's life. I don't know how he is mentally after his mum died. But I do know what depression is like, and I do know how serious that can be to your mental health. So I have to stand back and say, you know, I've had it. I've been there. I know what that's like. I might know what the problem is, or how you dealt with something, but I do know what and I wouldn't wish that on anybody in the world. And if he has it, get help. Go and get help. There's nothing wrong. I got help. I've got help at numerous times in my life. Numerous times. But maybe, you know, time to lay off now. If the bloke has depression, we have to respect that he needs a bit of time for himself and for that child that's coming. Let's just let it go now. Just let it go. I'll wise Paddy, eh? I talk some twaddle. But it is the truth. In my heart, it's the truth. Just let it go now. I've been there, done it, and it really doesn't do anything. Unsubscribe is the best version of an argument I've ever been able to have. Unsubscribe. That should be the antidote for all arguments. Deep, you're finished. That's it. But look, the Warthog, I pray, you're in my prayers every day now. And you have been for a while, because he hasn't been well at all, and I just wish him all the best. And William's Knife Life, thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know you a little bit better now. I know you a little bit better now. And the comment I said to him, I can understand that depression more than, not more than a lot of people. That's just Paddy trying to be dramatic. But I lost a son to suicide, and he was only 26. It's nearly 10 years ago, and let me tell you, it doesn't get any better. You get better at covering it, but it doesn't get any better. And so I do know what depression's like. But no matter what depression is, when you're in that stage, it's quite a dangerous stage, and it's a stage where people need to be loved and cuddled to get through it, and then they can face what they've done or what has happened after that. So, a little bit of worldly advice from an old fella who's gone through it a couple of times. There you go now. Right, what have I got to say? Yes, I'm going to do a video this afternoon on one of the Rough Rider knives that I got. It's not a Rough Rider, actually. I'd said it's a marbles. It's this little marbles knife. This is stunning. I'll do the wee video and put it up after this video at some stage in the day. But there we go. That's what you got coming. I hope you took this in the feelings that I was trying to get across. I don't know. I felt like I just wanted to say something that would maybe deflect the heat off what's going on. Thank you very much for watching. You're the best subs in the world. To those who sent me a couple of knives, one fella rang me up and says, "Give me a knife that you want from Heine. I'll order it and I'll pay for it and send it to you." I just thought that was amazing, and he gave me a budget that was way beyond what I chose. Way beyond, and because I didn't want to do it. To me, getting the help with budget knives, although they're just budget knives, when you're buying them for a channel, after a month and you've bought maybe 10 of them, it's expensive. You can buy a blooming good knife for that. So any little things like this helps me more than I want to do Patreon or anything like that, or I don't want to do live videos and get super chats. That's not me. I tried it, didn't like it. So the budget knives being sent or funded is just amazing. It's such a big help for me and takes a lot of pressure off. Thank you anyway. Best subs in the world. Said it, meant it. Absolutely love it. I'm going now. I have a cup of tea here that I haven't drank and it's going cold. This has gone on for nearly 25 minutes. I'm terribly sorry. I hope somebody gets something out of it. Take care. Paddy's away. The man who knows nothing about nothing, and when I know nothing, I'll still know nothing. Bye.